What is up, guys? Spartan 1000 here, and I'm back with another Star Ocean the Divine Force build video. This is going to be a early-ish game build for Elena. I was trying to get this out as soon as possible, but I wanted to make sure I had a substantial amount of stuff placed so you could see what I was going for. So Elena can serve as a tank. A bruiser, if you're unfamiliar with like a bruiser turn, that's basically somebody who can deal a bunch of damage and take a bunch of damage. They're not the best at either or, but sort of like in a nice middle ground to where they're not useless. She does have some incredible damage potential, but I do see an interesting tank mechanic potentially being here through AoE attacks, stuns, and then just having flat out just a ridiculous amount of defense. Looking at my character, she has the highest defense, I believe, through 32. She's beating everybody. Just barely beating Raymond. He might catch her. But she has a lot. And it's scaling, of course, as she levels up. Now, going into her actual skill tree, how you start it, I think, should go up this way. So grab some HP first, and I know I typically say get damage resistance first, but what we're doing instead of grabbing damage resistance is we're prioritizing some attack moves. Lancer isn't the exact thing we want here for a stun. It's decent enough for like a gap closer, some engage, but we want to grab this defense. We'll grab this health, the defense up here. This whole region is going to be useful to you. There's just nothing but health and defense up here, so you're going to grab all of this. But we really want Fist of Fury. If you're looking down at the damage is pretty sweet. This is definitely something you would pick up if you were going damage, but it also holds the enemy in place. Now, this isn't the case for larger enemies, but it's still nice damage over time if she's wailing on a boss like this. And it's really good for smaller ads because they can't fight back, leaving you to walk up and then just execute them. I do that so much with this current playthrough that I'm doing with Raymond. I just walk up and then one-shot the person she's holding still. I skipped out on quick usage because I don't believe you need this in any capacity. I believe there's a lot better passive skills that the comm will make a lot of use of. Quick usage is something that you should be using if you're controlling the character. So you can grab the HP ups. No guard is very good for her since she's going to be in the fight a lot. You definitely want her to eventually not flinch, especially when she's at critical health levels. That'll be very good for her survivability. After we hit that loop up there, we're going to grab this defense, go into first aid. Pretty sure all you vets know what first aid does, but I'll say it again. It's going to give you some HP whenever you're dropping to low HP levels. This is going to be very good for her survivability. You'll grab defense, go into this attack sword. You can grab these other attack swords if you want. It's not the main focus. We're going to skip out on this passive skill because it's based off of the VA attack, and if you're not controlling her, then you're not getting any use out of it. You want to make sure you're getting the most out of your SP. Tamer is a very good move, one of my favorite ones with her, especially if you're going for a tank version of her because it's hitting in the area. So and it's only cost 2 AP. So whenever you have a whole bunch, you can spam this out, and it's basically going to interrupt people from doing attacks, even if she's not intentionally trying to hit them because it's AoE. Next, you'll go down and hit the defense buff right here, get another defense buff. The rest of this sector is damage. I did grab auto healing as well because having regen as a tank would be nice too, because it's nice to have incredible tank stats for damage reduction, but you always want some sort of way to sustain yourself. You could pick up assassin if you wanted it. Since it said it was a single target move, I was like, I'll wait and come back for it. That's why I didn't grab it immediately. For magic muscle, it states that when an in-based strike lands a critical hit, a portion of the attack is temporarily added to the int stat. So I'm not trying to add to her magic damage stat, and I'm not even focused on her damage to begin with at this point, because I'm looking to make her more of a tankier character in our party. So I'm ignoring this for now, and then I'm just going to continue to move over here. This way we can pick up some magic resistance for her. Many of her combos require her to be in the fight, so she's going to get hit with spells, so you want her to be able to take those hits. So go ahead and grab as many of the guts as you can. Slowly path your way down to some more defense. This whole sector is very good. Heavy usage could be useful, but if you are running Nina in the party, you won't need heavy usage that much, which is why I don't carry it on any of my characters. It will be a waste, because Nina is going to be able to compensate for any amount of heals that you'll need, or status effect relief, and so on and so forth. So you won't need heavy usage. Eliminator does some pretty good damage. You got 180, and it is an area, but it does cost 5 AP. I wouldn't make this necessarily like the only move she does, but maybe the beginning of a combo, especially if you're already, you know, in the wild farming and you got a bunch of AP build up already, because then she can just open up a fight, you know, slamming into a bunch of people, knocking them around. So this is where her sort of tank mechanics come in. She's tanking through crowd control. You have Eliminator that is going to do, you know, 180 damage. It's long range and it's an area of effect. Then over here we have Tamer, area around her. Not so good on the damage, but it still gets the job done because it can be spammed back to back in a row. Or you could go Tamer into an Eliminator. And then of course we have Fist of Fury, which is very good for single target stuns or just overtime damage on a boss. So those are going to be the main mechanics you'll be using with her for the early game. What I would say what to look for next after this early game build playstyle is to start going into the specific resistances. You don't want her to be, you know, hindered by any sort of element or ailment that the enemies can apply. And this will give you more mileage out of your gut stats in general. So if you're really trying to make magic resistance not be a thing, get the gut stats first, because that's reducing all magic damage, you know, like non-discriminate. And then go for whatever is messing you up the most, or just slowly path your way in here, grabbing everything, and then eventually the guts portions as well. I'll get into her checks or her strengthening skills later on, but you can probably guess which ones you're going to be looking at. It'll be Fist of Fury because the damage it deals and the fact that it's a very heavy stun. Eliminator because it's AoE damage and AoE damage, crowd control. It's a pretty big stun for a lot of people. And then Tamer because it's also an AoE move that could cancel spells or just interrupt somebody that's currently comboing you. As for the passive skills, yep, we're going to run No Guard, First Aid, and Auto Healing. That way to keep her sustained so she can't just instantly get bursted. Moving into how her combos are. Her combos are kind of like odd at this point in the game, especially if you're going for her to just play as a tank. Her main three things are the Eliminator, the Tamer, and Fist of Fury. I have Fist of Fury on the hold square so that she can just go straight into it sometimes. She doesn't have to combo to get into it. Gladiator and Lancer have two of the same animations and they clip decently well, and since they don't push the enemy away, you could Fist of Fury at the ending of the combo. I'm not going to say it's the crispiest. I haven't got around to play with her animations super well, but that can be very good for a Cyclops enemy per se, like a dragon. That's something that's really big and stationary. Tamer is going to be very good for big groups of adds. You can do two Tamers back to back, and then Bullet Hunter. This is another AoE one. She starts with this one, and it'll push the people away at the ending of it. I even put Bullet Hunter as a hold triangle move just in case she has to, I don't know, revive somebody. You can walk over, and if you're getting chased, you can Bullet Hunter and then quickly pause it and then throw a fresh sage and you can pick somebody up. Eliminator is a nice opener. You could put it at the ending of a combo, but it costs 5 AP, so keep that in mind. You want to make sure you have very good stamina management whenever you're using any ability that's using 5 or more if there is more. I believe it just caps off at 5. So open up with Eliminator, And then if she's fighting a bigger boss, like, or if she's fighting a boss or a dragon or a cyclops or something, it's not a bad idea to Fist of Fury and then immediately go into another Fist of Fury. This is like a very heavy damage combo that you can go into for stationary targets. So Elena's pretty straightforward. I feel like there are more complex combos, especially when you factor in the sights and the other single target abilities that I did not do because I was more focused on allowing her to provide crowd control for our team, because that's something that the team doesn't have, unless of course you're counting Raymond and I'm controlling him. So I wanted somebody else to be contributing crowd control for the party I have right now. But if you enjoyed this build video, leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you think, especially on the Nina one and the Raymond one as well. I will have plenty more build videos coming out for all the characters. Just be patient with me. I'm going to be going through them at a time because I really want to make sure I can put out something that is very useful to you all whenever you go to play as them. But until then, I've been X-Barton 1000, and I will catch you all in the next Star Ocean broadcast.